This week I'm going to look at how I had to admit to the tax department, it's called the IRD here in New Zealand, that I was dyslexic and why I had to do that.
My Dyslexic Life is brought to you by Remarkable Minds and the Truth About Dyslexia course. Check them out at the link.
Hey everybody, it's Vanessa here and welcome to My Dyslexic Life. So this week I had to admit to the tax department that I was dyslexic. And I'm really comfortable talking about being dyslexic. Clearly, as because I tell you all the stuff that goes on in my life. And I think it's different though, isn't it? Talking about it in a casual way or talking about it with friends or kind of like looking at experiences and talking about being dyslexic. But it's kind of different when you're dealing with those really official organisations like banks and, I don't know, the tax department, for instance. So I had to provide some documentation to the tax department and I needed to get it in by a certain date. So I was really conscious that I had to do it and I set time aside and I tried really hard to pull all the information together. And I managed to do that. I got, my business partner, Becky, she just had a quick look over it and she was like, yep, that's all good. That's exactly what they're asking for. Because often, when you communicate with people like the tax department or banks, the language they use can be quite confusing for a dyslexic. So, we can miss something or we can just not understand what it is they're asking us. So, I got Becky to just double check for me. And I sent off the email and I was kind of really feeling really proud of myself. I was like, yes, I've done it. I've got the information together and I got it in by the time they wanted. Anyway, a lovely gentleman called Kingsley emailed me the next day and said, thank you very much for providing all that information, Vanessa, but the PDFs that you refer to in the email, I think you've forgotten to attach them. So after all of that time and effort, I managed to send the email off without actually attaching the documentation. So once again, I just kind of laughed and thought, oh God, I tried so hard. I tried so hard to get everything right. And yet there was still the one thing that I missed. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm actually just going to tell him the reason. So I replied and said, thank you very much for letting me know that. I'd actually worked really hard to get all the documentation together, and this is an example right here of being an adult dyslexic. I just forgot to attach the PDFs. I appreciate your email, and here they are. And I think it was sending that off, not saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just went, I appreciate you telling me. And the reason it happened is because I'm an adult dyslexic. And I'd actually tried really hard, but I missed that bit. So here's the documentation. And that just felt much better. Like, as I've said, so often it's easy to talk about our dyslexia, but when you come against those kind of really organisations that are banks and tax, I still feel like being dyslexic would be seen as a little bit of a stigma. And, I'm not prepared to let my dyslexia stop me. And I'm not prepared to not talk about being dyslexic, even if it is to the tax man. So the only way that we're going to be able to change the worldview of dyslexia is by letting people know and being okay with letting people know. And if you're interested, our Truth About Dyslexia course can really help with that. So go, I don't know if the link will be in this email because that's the stuff that gets sorted out after I do this or this video. But yeah, if you're not okay with telling someone you're dyslexic, please go and have a look at our course because it'll really help.